I know that West Virginia had been in contact with him in the spring, and I'd received some emails from Coach Biedenbaugh, and I don't think the offer officially came until a couple of weeks ago. But I know they, at this stage of the game, sometimes you have some guys on your radar. You look at your board and you see, what do you have left and what do you want to do? So he may not have been a guy that was offered by BCS schools right off the get-go, but I think he was always been on their board. One of the things, too, about Grant is that he's currently 17 years old. He's not going to be 18 until May. I think, obviously, the future is huge for him. He's 6'5", 270, in the 275 right now. He's going to be a big one. I mean, he's going to be a big guy. He's going to be able to fit his last name on the back of his jersey without any problem. The thing I think that some of the schools may have looked at is he, as a sophomore, he was a big kid who was working into his body, and primarily for us he was a JV player, and we had an outstanding All-Ohio offensive lineman ahead of him, but so he came onto the whole situation late. I think his transition between his sophomore year and his junior year was tremendous. Mm-hmm. And, he began to fill out, grow into that body, worked very hard on his agility and footwork. And I just got a lot of feedback from college coaches, in the spring of his sophomore year saying, hey, this is a guy that's going to be, he's going to be something, because he moves well, he's got good feet. You can tell he's going to continue to grow, get bigger and stronger. He's going to fill out more, and therefore they believe, he can be that dominant kind of lineman. So, mm-hmm. I certainly understand that. And I think Grant realizes that too, that, you may have some guys out there that are thinking, hey, if your previous offers were not from Big 12 schools or SEC schools, can you play at that level? And I said, use that as a motivation for you. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to use that as motivation and tell everybody and tell the people of West Virginia that you're at the right level and you're going to do great things for them.
Absolutely. We're talking with Mark Iammarino. He's the head football coach at Chagrin Falls High School. He coaches Grant Lingafelter, who verbaled to WVU this week and flipped his commitment over from Miami of Ohio. And so, Coach, it sounds as though he has all the physical attributes and will grow into that position. And now, for us, and I'm here with Coach Greg Hunter, who is a beautiful specimen of an offensive lineman. The next question we always have is, perhaps even bigger than the physical attributes, is how nasty, how mean, and will this kid hit you in the mouth, and what happens when he gets hit in the mouth?
And that's a good point, and that's the deal. I think his film shows for himself that he does have that nasty streak to him. He finishes off blocks well. I mean, he's not just a one-hit guy. I mean, he'll go after a guy, make sure that he's down on the ground. He played most of this year. I would say he played the second half of the year with a pretty badly bruised set of ribs. There were 2 weeks during the season in which, we kind of kept him on the shelf in practice to limit that, but he didn't miss any time in games, played some defensive tackle for us as well. So, that's the name of the game. I mean, that's, hogs are hogs for a reason. There's nothing pretty about him, and he's got the footwork, he's got all that other kind of stuff. But the bottom line, if he's going to make a name for himself, he realizes that, you got to be aggressive, you got to be able to be physical, you're going to have to play through an awful lot, and I think obviously that's all in front of him. But everything we have seen, from him shows that, and we're excited for him to step to the next level, and I think he is obviously too.
Coach, what caused him to decide to take West Virginia's offer? He had, a MAC offer in front of him. Was it just an opportunity to play at a higher level, or was there something else that influenced him?
We talked a lot this week. This is, it hadn't been an easy situation. Grant's had he had kind of verbal during the season and been pretty, and turned down a lot of schools and been pretty consistent with it. But these last couple of weeks, schools have come back in, as I've said before, and some BCS schools as well. And I don't think, West Virginia, to my knowledge, it wasn't a brand new thing. They had him on a radar and kind of kept in touch. And, he went down and he took a visit, and I just think he was extremely impressed with the coaching staff. He enjoyed working with them. A couple of the players that he stayed with were Northeast Ohio guys. In fact, one of the guys we had played against a couple of years ago in the playoffs. I believe Mateo, the center,
yeah, Tony Mateo
from Akron, from Akron, Manchester. So there's that familiarity there. He stayed with another player who I think is from Cleveland St. Ed's, Northeast Ohio guy. So there was some sense of familiarity there. But I think as we went down the pros and cons and all those things, I just think the atmosphere of Morgantown on a Saturday afternoon and playing Big 12 football is something that he's wanted to do all his life. He's worked very hard for it. And he said, Coach, if I've got the opportunity to do it at the biggest level, then I'm going for it. And I think that was really the situation, that made him say, hey, this is the best place for me. I think he felt the comfort level with the coaching staff, felt comfort with the players that he was with, really impressed with not only the facilities but the level of play that West Virginia has. He knows what that all entails for him and the opportunity, and he just wanted that opportunity.
Talking with Mark Iammarino, the head coach at Chagrin Falls High School in Ohio, on WVU verbal commitment, Grant Lingafelter.
Coach, offensively, you guys, in looking at some of your stats, and first of all, you said you had a couple sons on the team. You just sort of glossed over that. Your sons are really good.
Thank you.
in looking at that, but you guys threw the ball a great deal. In terms of scheme, West Virginia obviously is a club that throws the ball a lot and runs out of the spread. Is his adaptation to what West Virginia does, how difficult is that going to be for him, or is it going to be rather smooth?
Well, it's interesting you say that because, when I was talking with Grant, he said he watched some film, and he said he saw a lot of similarities of what they asked their offensive linemen to do as to, obviously at a high school level, of what we did. And he saw some similarities. I mean, Grant isn't a guy that, put his hand in the dirt and blocked for the wing tee or just blocked power off tackle. I mean, we were a very up-tempo spread team. We were a no-huddle team. We had, different tempos where we would go real fast or we would do some things there. He's used to playing left tackle in a two-point stance, expecting an outside edge rusher. So as far as a high school level can prepare you, for that level, I think there's similarities there. Now, by no means does it mean that he's automatically ready to go up against obviously the guys that he'll go up against. But as far as schematic is concerned and what we try to teach, I think there it is some similarities there, and it won't be out of his realm to be able to do that. So like I said, I mean he's used to playing offensive tackle in a 2-point stance. He's used to snapping the ball within 15 seconds of each play. And doing those kinds of things as well.
And looking at some of the, profiles through the Cleveland newspaper, your son was the D3 co-offensive player of the year in the state of Ohio. Tommy, what is his status? Where's he going?
We're looking right now. He's gone through, we blame it a little bit on his mother and I that he's not 6'3". He's 6 feet tall, and so a little frustrating. The opportunities there have not been, kind of what the success that I think that he's had at the high school level and been able to accomplish the things that he had. But we're exploring a lot of Division III opportunities, some 1AAs. He's a very strong student. He was academic All-Ohio, so looking at some, some high academic schools. And, if WVU needs a sawed-off Tim Tebow-like kind of guy, hey, we'd love to come to Morgantown too, So
he completes 70% of his passes or nearly thereof with 29 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I think there are a lot of schools, maybe not, like I said, BCS level for 6-foot quarterbacks, but there are a lot of others out there
he can play.
That could take that kind of kid.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, one of the things, and Grant receives a lot of credit for this, is that, Tommy started, played a lot as a sophomore, and we were truly a spread team, running the bubble screens and getting the ball out quick and running the zone read and those types of things. But this year, we had such great protection. We were able to get back in the pocket and get a good long 5-step drop, get 4 receivers out, get multiple reads, throw the ball down the field. And that's really where our offense moved ahead this year, is that we had some great protection. I mean, there were some compliments we got as we moved along in the playoffs from some of the teams that we played, the strength of our offensive line, and certainly Grant was our bell cow, if you will. And, it allowed us to be able to go down the field with some more complex type pass combinations and be able to throw the ball well. And that was, we're going to miss that last year, but we certainly enjoyed it. We're going to miss that next year, but we certainly enjoyed it this past year.
Great insight. Coach, thanks so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. We wish you guys the best, not only with Grant, but with your sons as well. And hopefully we'll see you in Morgantown sometime.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks a bunch. You take care.